What's up, droners, and welcome to another Droner Dialogue. And before we even get into this one, I want to do a shout out to Mason Duncan, Mike Hatak, who actually, they didn't recommend it, but they encouraged me to do the subject that we're going to talk about today. So good looks, guys. I'm going to do it. And also a shout out to Mike Muscatello for giving me more information about what I'll get back to what you got me, bro. But thank you for your comments. Is pretty much what I'm saying, because I do read them, and I appreciate you guys for giving me those comments. So that's aside. On to what we're talking about today. I mentioned it last week that I might start talking about this, and cameraman Tony thought it was a good idea too. So what we're going to talk about is making a drone reel. And at first I was like, this probably isn't something that's worthy of Droner Dialogue, but I realized that a lot of you guys are either professional or aspiring professional drone pilots. And one of the best things you can have is a really strong reel. Like, I've gotten work specifically off of the reel that I have without somebody even knowing who I am. We have ours posted on Vimeo, and it's just there, and sometimes people just find it and send you a message on Vimeo and say, hey, you have the best drone reel I've seen. I'd like to hire you for this in wherever, and it happens. So it's really important to have a strong drone reel, because also if you have somebody who's has in competing rates, or you're competing against other drone pilots, then the client is gonna wanna see what you've done, where you've been, and what you're capable of. So drone reel is really important. Let's start off with the basics. What is a drone reel? A drone reel is pretty much a collection of all the footage, or the best footage of selects of all the drone work that you have. Some people do it within a certain time scale. Like, I do mine by the year. It's like my stuff from 2016, 2017. Or you could just say, this is my overall drone reel. It's really up to you. There really is no right or wrong answer with that. What's the purpose of a drone reel? The purpose of a drone reel is to show off how dope you are. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, is that you really want to show a client what you can do. It's like, if you want to apply to anywhere, they're like, what's your resume? And for anyone who does visual work, then your resume has to be something visual. If you're a camera operator, you have a cinematography reel. If you are a drone pilot, then you have a drone reel. So you have a drone reel to show people what you want, what you can do. Where do you put your drone reel? That's a really hard question, to be honest, to answer, because it's kind of like wherever you want, whatever video hosting platform is most accessible to you. I hosted mine on Vimeo just because, I don't know, I just did that. I didn't really have a really good reason. I feel like people search for specific like cinematographer and cinematography work more on Vimeo than they would do on YouTube or any other of the hosting sites. And you just have more options about privacy and the way that you can send off links. I like Vimeo. It just feels more professional than saying, here's my YouTube link for my drone reel. Like, Vimeo for me just feels more professional. It's just, I don't know. But honestly, it doesn't really, I would assume that a client wouldn't really care as long as they had access to it and they can click a link and it just starts playing. It really doesn't matter where you host it. The only reason that it would matter is if you want it to have views. So like, when I posted my drone reel to Vimeo, I wasn't doing it so that I can have the biggest Vimeo account in the world. I just put it over there because it looked professional. I didn't even list it, so it's not something, wait, I'm sorry. I had it unlisted at first, and then I allowed it to be shown. And that, like I said before, got me a little bit of work. So being able to have people to be able to see it and having it out there with enough hashtags that allow people to see it, or keywords, makes it so that people can find it, which might be able to get you more work. That side of things, I'm honestly not an expert at when it comes to saying, here's an objective drone reel of mine to be able to get me drone work. Typically, all the work I get is from people who have worked with me before, or people who knew people who worked with me before. I've only gotten a couple jobs from people that are just like, here's your drone reel. And those jobs were normally kind of sketchy anyway. So for the most part, I would say just your drone reel is mostly meant for you to be able to send to people. So yeah, people normally find me or look for me to do work with them from other contacts. Either they have worked with me or someone has worked with me that, it's like, oh yeah, this producer that I know is doing this other project. And it's always a social thing. Somebody knew somebody or somebody knew me. That's pretty much how it goes. But the first question that is always asked whenever they're like, oh, you're a drone pilot? Let me see your reel. Literally the first question every single time. They normally ask that question before they ask for your rates. That's how important it is. So yeah, this is literally like your front door of your business as a drone pilot. Like, this is, like, you like to come into my establishment, please enjoy this drone reel. So yeah, that's pretty much why you need a drone reel and what's important about it. Now let's talk about how. How do you get to editing and cutting a drone reel, and how do you approach it? The first thing that you do is you're actually going to be looking at the music. The music, to me, is almost as important as the footage itself. Now that sounds weird, but most people who watch these drone reels are listening to the music too, and the music can move you through the piece. As you can see, like, I've actually posted my drone reel on this YouTube page. So you can see it. It just says cool drone footage from around the world, I believe is what the title of it is. But you'll see we picked a song, my drone flying partner Dominic picked a song by Flume that has a lot of changes in it. So it starts off one way, it's like, and then it just goes into all these different instruments and different sounds and like a lot of emotion behind it. Because when you cut something, emotion is moved by music. So the tone that you're trying to set is really important when you're looking at the music. Like for us, like I wanted to be like inspiring and awe-inspiring because we travel. Like my team and I, we travel around the world. We film amazing things. So we want you to feel inspired and like, oh wow, you know, it's just like have that over like that, like you're traveling with us almost feeling is what we're going for. And as I said before, music really influences the emotion of what you're watching or the experience of what you're watching. But if you're an action drone pilot, then you want to have some action stuff. It's like hard-hitting music. Or if you're like a drone inspector, then you probably want to have something that's like more technical sounding. You know, it really just is like you have to pick the music to go with whatever you're working. And after you pick the music...
Would a drone inspector have a reel?
I think a drone inspector would have... That's a good question.
I don't think so.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good question. Would a drone inspector have a reel? I'm not a drone inspector, like a drone's using drones to inspect. I don't know if you'd have a reel or not. Because it's funny, because it's just like, you see my reels? Like, let me look at these power lines. Yeah, you see that angle of the power lines? Oh, man, and when I got under this bridge one time, bro, like, got the FLIR in there, man, infrared. I don't know. I don't know if they would actually. I think they still could. I don't know. I don't see a reason why they wouldn't. They should have some form of drone footage on their website if they fly drones and use drones as cameras, so... No, I mean, I think so. Like, you can see the cracks. They go, look, we found this crack. But I guess for, like, inspections, it's more about your resume than it is about in your cameras. I don't know. Either way, as I was saying, is the music is really important. And then after that, it's really looking at the footage itself. This is actually, to me, the hardest part. So as is business in general, is that you kind of have to, like, look at the finish line to be able to understand how to get there. And you have to really be thinking about who your client is going to be and who's going to be watching these videos. So if your client, like for example, my company, Transit Pictures, what we do is that we base all of our reels off of travel footage. That's what we want to do when we want to work with clients that need people that travel, LA-based film crew that travels, so we can do that. So our music reflects the awe, the inspiring, the travel, the movement, and our shots, in selecting the shots for that, we really selected a variety of shots that were from all over the world, because we've already been all over the world. And it was just very direct and more focused on our client. Like we're really thinking about what will my client be thinking as they watch this? Now, another thing that we do is specialty shots is like, we're skilled at doing tracking shots and shots through like forests and fields and things like that. So you have to show that. So when you're selecting your footage, it's like you don't want to have just all wide shots of pretty places, because then it's just like, well, anybody can do that who can fly a drone. They can just, well, oh, look, it's a pretty, coastline again, another pretty coastline. Oh my God, look, it's a coastline. Like, no, you have to really be able to switch it up. If you live on a coastline and all you do is fly coastline shots, then give a huge diversity of different kinds of coastline shots. You don't want to have every shot of yours just flying over the water. So think about the client. Make sure that you have a diversity of shots. One of the biggest compliments I get on my drone reel is that our tracking shots are phenomenal. And we picked those on purpose. It's like we have us flying through tight spaces, and we also have like following in very difficult situations, like people on motorcycles or people on go-karts and things like that, or cars, and just following it and keeping them center frame and having a beautiful frame in the first place that allows them to be there. So yeah, that's honestly the biggest point that I get. That's the biggest compliment I get to my drone reels. People are always like, I love that you have such a variety. I knew that I could hire you to do whatever we wanted to do, and you could be creative in the moment because of your drone reel. So make sure that you have a huge variety of what it is that you're looking for the client that you want. So to reiterate, first of all, understand who your customer is or who your new client is going to be. Make sure you have them in your mind the whole time. Music is key. Make sure you're thinking about the customer the whole time, the client the whole time you're picking music. Make sure your shots are diverse, and make sure that it has a good flow that reflects what you're looking to do and where you're looking to film. So with those 4 things, you will be fine. Just make sure you take your time with it, because this is your front door of your business as a drone pilot. So make sure you take your time, you are detail oriented, and it's not right until you know it's right and it feels right. So good luck, guys, and I hope to see some of your drone reels soon. Droners, thank you for checking out this droner dialogue about drone reels. And if you want to see more droner dialogue where we keep it real, like always, we got them right here. Or if you want to see the greatest intro video to a YouTube channel that has ever done drone stuff in the history of drone stuff, we got it. As always, we really do appreciate your support, and 3 different ways you can do that is to subscribe, because holy crap, we love that. You can hit up our Patreon account, because we love that too, or you can be as fly as I am by getting one of these shirts in the link below, because these shirts are absolute fire. As always, make sure that you stay fly.